Hey, this is Coach K. Good to have you, all the passionaires. We are going to watch a couple fight, both in public and in private, and almost to the bedroom. So, hey, does that sound familiar to you? So public, private, and bedroom. So here we go. The same couple from last week, of course, from Married at First Sight. They are still married as far as we can tell. So they must have been doing something right. All right. So I hope today we'll watch together. All the coaches out there with me today on the Zoom. We'll not show their face, so it will feel more comfortable with all the coaches watching together. If you're watching with me, this is our Passioneer channel. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We'll go over this and we'll throw some passion language. If you've what does that mean? Acceptance, vengeance. Wait for a little bit. We'll give you explanation. Hopefully that'll give you another perspective, another angle to look at the fight, look at the relationship. It worked, as far as I can tell. Hundreds and hundreds of couples have been using this to have a neutral language. So, all right, let's look at today's fight, and I want you to watch with me, and let's go.
Elizabeth and I had a fight a few days ago, and right now I'm questioning the marriage. But Dr. Viviana is coming over, and the timing could not be better. Hopefully she will apologize for the way she acted in front of the other couples, because it's not going to be a part of the marriage where that's okay to act like that.
I feel like I'm at home. I grew up around this.
Shut up and listen.
Watch the safety video.
Just shut up for 5 minutes.
I literally can never say anything without him just getting so pissed.
All right, let's go back to this body language here. All right, that's a public fight, folks. They kind of have a very short public. It's hard to describe this. Look at the husband is on the right, wife is on the left. They are far right and far left. Sound like our Congress. But anyway, they are on both sides of the aisle, and they look at each other. Look at the body language. They had a fight in front of everybody watching them. It's like, oh. All right. Have you ever experienced that you feel embarrassed by your loved ones publicly? Okay. Could be spouse, husband, or wife, or sometimes kids. Sometimes even your pets, okay? You just feel so embarrassed, like you just have to do something, all right? So this is exactly what happened. So my first question for all of you is, if you feel embarrassed by your partner, say, husband embarrassed by wife's behavior, and what would you do? I mean, this particular case, the husband say something like, you should shut up for 5 minutes, okay? And you can see the wife's body language is like, I can't see that. If you see it.
I literally can never say anything.
Yeah, look at the body language. Like, it's there, okay, in public display, right? So, so my first question is, will you pick up what would you do in the public situation if you feel embarrassed by your spouse? Could be your children, could be your kid, could be your parent. What would you do? I mean, this situation. What would you do? Anybody would just shut up, just don't do anything. Anybody would say something, or you could say something different. What do you guys think? Coaches?
I would probably be quiet and deal with it later.
Hold on. So you will be quiet and just deal with it. Okay. I love the word deal with it. Okay. Deal with it later. Okay. So you just watch like, okay. That's a lot of people choose to do that. Usually tend to more forgiving people. All right. So, yes, I think Coach Henry, you are more forgiving, right? Low vengeance. Very low vengeance, right?
That's right.
Hey, that's right. Low vengeance. I will get you a little forgiving. You are very forgiving. Okay, and also you are probably soft-powered a little bit? Maybe not. You will wait, right? Okay.
Moderate power.
Moderate
like
power.
0.25, something like that. 0.25 or 0.35. I forget the exact number.
Okay.
It's on the positive side, though.
Yeah, so if you are forgiving, and then you are more soft power, maybe power in the middle, like you won't say-
Managed power.
managed power. So you kind of hold your breath and don't do anything. Okay. Anybody else? What would you do? Anybody would just say something just like this guy did, this husband did.
Are you asking how we would respond if we were the
Yeah.
person telling the other to
Yeah.
be quiet?
Let's put yourself in the husband's shoes. Like you feel your loved one is embarrassing you. Like he feel embarrassed. He just said outright. Okay, so he say something to stop it. What would you do? Put yourself in the husband's shoes. What would you do?
Well, number one, I wouldn't shout across all the couples. I would walk next to them and talk to them quietly instead of yelling in front of people.
The first one is walk right next to her, right?
Yeah, I think the first thing I noticed was why are all the couples next to each other and they're literally so far apart? How did they get like that?
Maybe that's because the reality TV show love to have this setup. No, I'm kidding.
I don't know. I mean, if
Oh,
I was
yes. Okay.
probably
Alright, could be.
I just if I was in the person's position where it's like, why is my significant other or my spouse talking so much? I wouldn't tell them to shut up in front of everybody, because that's even more embarrassing, because it's not like he's embarrassing not her, but he's embarrassing both of them. So he should I just think like how to handle this, you should just go up to the person and talk to them. Like whisper like, hey, the person's talking, just be quiet for a second, let them talk.
Okay, that's very good. So you would just stop the game, walk across to her in this example. Just, hey, please, calm down, right? Something like that.
Because I mean, he said just shut up for 5 minutes. He could have just like put his hand on her and whisper like, hey, just let this guy finish talking, and then you can say what you need to say.
Okay. What passion prevent him from doing that? Or what passion make him to say, shut up for 5 minutes?
Disrespect? I don't.
Disrespect. It's a passion. Go disrespectful. Interesting. I mean, yeah, there's something that obviously kind of bothered, right, in the guy's heart. And it's hard to say what that is. I'm thinking it's honor again from last week's analysis. He has a high honor, so he feel his wife is not following the rule. His wife is stepping outside the boundary, kind of challenging the rule, disrupting every rhythm they have, right? So the honor guy would just say, you shouldn't be doing that, right? And he's probably a little bit high power, so that could be, I don't know. I mean, look at the word, just shut up for 5 minutes. Now, anybody else you want to give like a try, like husband, what could you do in this scenario?
To make fun of her.
Oh, for example, okay, give me an
Or
example.
like do it in a joking way, like
humor
stop
coming to
talking.
say. Okay, that's good. Yeah. Sometimes the honor people is so hard to come up with a humor. All right, honor people out there, I love you guys. I'm honor people. Sometimes I just treat life so seriously. It's hard to come up with a humor. Okay, and yeah, so you ought to do this. You shouldn't be doing that. I understand, but you can look at the body language. It's like, she was like literally feel humiliated by husband shouting across 4 people. Like, okay, so yeah, obviously she's also high acceptance from last week's analysis. That's a worse scenario. High acceptance and sensitive personality put on the public display. Whatever you do is kind of embarrassing her anyway. Okay, anybody else want to jump in, because this is okay. Now, what would you do? Put yourself in the wife's shoes. What would you do to? She was so mad. She was like, the body language say everything. What would you do? I mean, if you have a wife, what's your response? I know, it's a hard one, huh?
It looks like she got mad at the instructor
I think so.
for talking.
Yes, I think
It's
so.
hard. It's hard for me to put myself.
Look at that body. Like, she's like, what are you talking about, instructor? You know, she's obviously vengeance up, right? Vengeance. Let me put the vengeance up. She's something not happy. Okay. So I don't know what that is. You guys can watch the whole episode. I have no idea what that is, but so
it's hard for me to put myself in her shoes because if there's a instructor talking, I wouldn't talk over them to talk about myself. But if okay, this guy told me to shut up for 5 minutes so the instructor could talk.
well,
I would probably apologize to the instructor for talking over him.
Okay. All right.
Because I think that's probably why he got mad.
Probably. We don't have the full clip, right?
Now, I say that from looking at this. If I was in this situation, I don't know. But I don't think I would be in this situation because I wouldn't. I don't know. She just seems like she just likes talking about herself.
Yeah, look at the body language. She's confrontational. You see that?
She's ready to fight the instructor and probably
Yeah.
production.
But this type of body language, usually we call it sensitive confrontational. Like, what that means is she doesn't want to really have a fight. She's trying to protect herself. And you can see, I'll show you. So basically, she's high acceptance, as we know. But so that's why a lot of people, like in the public, may shout at you. Or young people love to call somebody Karen, right? Karen, be aware, some of the Karen are high sensitivity people. Like, they do that to protect themselves, right? And high vengeance. So that body language is there. It's like, I'm going to make myself bigger, louder, so you cannot hurt me. That's obvious there. It's not, if the person is really high vengeance, the way they want to fight is never like this. This is not a way to fight. It's like, they want to really hurt you. This is not. She do this to make herself bigger, stronger, more powerful, so she protect her image, self-image. So it's confirmed again. She's really sensitive, have very sensitive soul. The self-esteem, I cannot comment on it, but you can see usually that's the case. So she seemed to be throwing a tantrum, but it's not really. I think she really feels unfair. She might feel left out. She might feel something not arranged right, and she tried to protect her own right. So, and people with this kind of combination of sensitivity and vengeance, it's a hard combination. The more you want to win, you want to really win the game. Maybe she really want to win. And then you also want to really be received well. It's become a internal fight, okay? To a point, it's really hard to deal. So you have like, so a lot of athletes, by the way, high performance athlete fall into this category. Is like, I want to win so bad, but I don't want to lose in front of people. You see that? So that become a motivation that's kind of sometimes can go very, very, very powerful, but the next day you might just everything fall apart. Okay, so that's why some athletes have a performance so up and down, right? Really emotional. This is how it comes down to these two together. I analyze this wife, this particular wife. Her name is Beth, I believe. Beth is probably very competitive, yet sensitive. Okay, so. She could be a good athlete, by the way. So I think she wants to win the game. I'm 100% sure that's the case. You can see the body language. So she tried to win. All right. So that's the case. Sometimes, often happens. So, and this is. I hope you guys know. Anybody have anything to jump in before we go to the private fight? All right. Let's play the private fight. Now there's a chance they come back home. Remember, they're married. Not very long because married at first sight, but enough. They have a place, a private place. So now the fight brought home.
Safety video.
Shut up for 5 minutes.
I literally can never say anything without him just getting so pissed.
I'm just, you can reprimand me. I don't have anything to say back right now.
You can act like you don't care. That's fine. It's much easier to not care than actually care and talk about what happened and actually show some remorse.
I need to reserve my energy for Dr. Viviana too. So if you have anything else to discuss.
Yeah, I got a lot of things to say, and I'm gonna continue discussing them.
Beat me down even more. I'm a horrible person. Please keep going.
You and I can get mad at each other behind closed doors. It's a whole nother ball game when you ruin everybody else's day that's within earshot of you. You embarrass our marriage. You embarrass me personally. You've certainly embarrassed yourself. You embarrass the other couples. You embarrass everybody.
When you told me to shut up in front of everyone, I was embarrassed. I felt stupid. And everyone around you think that that's okay and no one even says anything. Yeah, you're gonna ruin everyone's day.
It was okay.
Then
Your
why
mom-
didn't anyone take up for me? Jamie, why didn't anybody take up for me then? I'm so sick of this.
Okay,
It's a
let's
whole
get to the beginning. Okay.
You can reprimand me.
All right, so that's a start, the body language. Okay, so what's going on? Okay, analyze now, folks. Is that interesting? Hey, look at her body language. She's
closed off.
she's closed
Or
off.
She's pretending not that it doesn't matter to her. She's pretending that it doesn't care. She's like, that didn't affect me. I'm okay right now. You think that like that touched me? Nope.
Yeah. So, but her words said, you can't reprimand me, right? So it's interesting. Her body language say the other way around, like, don't talk to me. I'm touchy. I'm sensitive. I feel really, really disrespected by whatever you did. But I'm processing my emotion. But her words came out differently. Like, well, okay, you can say whatever you want to say, right? It's like So see, this is interesting. This is what the high acceptance people do often is they will say something, but their body language show otherwise. And that happened, you have to really watch. I don't know whether the husband got a signal or not, okay? And he sort of get a license to kill now. It's like, okay, you said you can't reprimand me. I'm ready to go. You see that language? There's no way you can talk like this. Does that make sense, folks? There's no way if you see your wife like this, especially know her sensitivity is high. If you try to jump in, you give me permission. Hey, I'm coming. See, and that's when things get a little bit weird. Look at that.
I don't have anything to say back right now.
You can act like you don't care. That's
See?
fine. It's much easier to not care than actually care and talk about what happened and actually show some remorse.
I need to reserve my energy for.
Okay, this one every time this a lot of people do like this is one is like I'm shrinking, I'm withdrawing, don't push me. So it's like it's happening. Okay. Oh, I love
He's closing the blinds.
Yeah, closing the blind. This is usually it's like a defensive gesture. It's like the dog's face is like, oh my, she's going. So, but okay, and I don't think the guy got a signal. All right, so
Dr. Viviana too.
and
so if
she's
you have anything
she's
else to
pleading too.
discuss-
She's pleading. She's take a step. Say, I'm conserving my energy. You see that for the counselor's visit. So I need rest. Can we have a no pressure talk? Can we not even talking? Just spend some time. So this is a second part for sensitivity, high acceptance people. The no pressure zone is a very essential space at home. When I say this is, you need to know each other's language, body language as well the language itself to really know this is not the time to talk. Okay, this is time to build that no pressure zone, so we can diffuse this until sensitivity is no more an issue. So she's trying to de-escalate herself. She's trying, folks. Give her credit. She's trying very hard, folks. She's trying. No, she already have a soft language. You can say something, but she shouldn't say that. Okay. She should have said, "Hey, no pressure zone now. Would you see that?" Can we create a no pressure zone? Let's don't talk about it. I will talk about it. But so if you can say that instead of like, oh, you can reprimand me now. See, so that's well, they are newlyweds, so that's okay. But now she has this gesture. She's shrinking. She's withdrawing. She's saying, I need conserve energy, right? Now, and the husband came in strong.
I got a lot of things to say, and I'm
Oh
gonna continue
boy,
discussing them.
beat me down even more. I'm a horrible person. Please keep going.
You and I can get mad.
Do you see that? She already said, I'm a horrible person. You see that? She's throughout the defense, I'm horrible. Don't say anything. I know I'm horrible. Okay. You see that? Okay. This is definitely a sensitivity play, folks. So high sensitivity people, like young teenagers, would shut the door, don't, and put a piece of paper. Do not come in. Have you ever seen that? Okay. All right. And oftentimes this is the same gesture, you know, but then it's some of that. She already have a very defensive mechanism. I'm horrible anyway. What else you can say to hurt me? So that's there. Okay. Now, I'll stop here. This is where things get very interesting because the fight could have stopped here. What do you guys think? I think that the fight you could kind of at least put a stop here. But how? Will you stop here, Henry? Put yourself in the husband's shoes.
I think, he could say, all right, we need to talk and give her some time, but let her know that he's, he needs to process this his way as well. And she needs to, let him say his piece at some point.
That's good. Okay. So
once she's had the time to process it, then they can talk about it rationally. He's not really showing a lot of emotion in this. He's just trying to be logical, I think, about what he's. He's coming at it from a logical point of view, and he is not putting feelings into it. And her feelings are all out on her sleeve, and so they're kind of opposites like that. And he's trying to win the argument in his way by getting her to understand where he's coming from, logically speaking.
That's very good. So logic kicks in, right? He wants to
Right.
prove he's right, she's wrong, basically.
But he's about as sensitive as a bulldozer right there.
Right. So logic kicking. This is a moment most of men's logic kicking, because man has a difficult time dealing with emotion. No, I'm serious. I shouldn't say that, but in this particular case, he chose a logic language, right? Right or wrong. This is ought to be. You should have been. You could have been. You see that the word like you should. You see that? And that's usually the worst. That's a no land, because this is not the logic time. Logic doesn't kick in here, and nor emotion. It doesn't really work, because if you talk emotionally, and you say, "I'm embarrassed by you," it will make it worse. Okay, so this is really a place where no word is better than words. Okay, it's really create a no pressure zone. Okay, eating. Take the dog out for a walk, and say, "I'll come back." Okay, but just de-escalate the situation, so her body language and all that will calm down. The acceptance need time to relax. There's no way you can, but high acceptance people take more time to really calm down to where they feel no pressure. They can talk, right? So, but this is where the fight could have been gone a very different way. I'm not saying better or worse, but look at what's happening. No, he's going to give the logic.
Behind closed doors. It's a whole nother ball game when you ruin everybody else's day that's within earshot of you. You embarrass our marriage. You embarrass me personally. You've certainly embarrassed yourself. You embarrass the other couples. You embarrass everybody.
All right. Now, He used 5 embarrass. You embarrass me, you embarrass yourself, you embarrass other couple, you embarrass dog, you embarrass sky, you embarrass, heaven, earth. Anybody you have been there. Like you start heaven and earth all embarrassed by you. It's like, see, this one to me, it's like, whoa. And look at her face. It's like, I don't know. What passion is driving him talking like this? Honor again. Do you see that? This is honor coupled with acceptance. So I think the husband is also high acceptance, but then high honor. So he just feel his tradition, his good boy image or father system type of thing is totally ruined. You see that? You embarrass me, embarrass yourself, embarrass other couples, embarrass the coach, embarrass. I mean, it's a very strong word. You embarrass, you embarrass, you embarrass, you embarrassed. Wow. I in my 28 years of marriage, I never say that to my wife. I dare not, folks. I'm a high honor guy, but I know that's not my wife is high vengeance. But in any case, I want to bring this to you is I think high sensitivity couple, if you are, your emotion usually are roller coaster. So for both are in the right moment to talk, it's almost like two people who don't know dance tango want to tango all night. You know what I'm saying? I'll step on your feet and you are too far away from me. So you are both a high acceptance, good luck on your relationship. When you have good luck, it's like in the heaven. When you have the bad luck, you are in the hell. and the roller coaster, that's what it is. Okay. And somebody loves this kind of stuff. This is definitely a book worthy, And that's why they are still married and they have their own YouTube channel. People watch them because it's like entertaining. Okay. Yeah. I would recommend, in this case, number one, please have that kind of communication so that the moment you both need no pressure zone. That means space, literally space, right? And literally recognize the body language. Literally, sometimes you have to watch the facial expression to know he needs a no pressure zone right now, or she needs a no pressure zone. This is very crucial, even with our children, to know something. So I advise against public shouting out loud, like stopping people doing you think was embarrassing. I really think that's jack up their sensitivity because high sensitivity people don't like to be called out in public. Okay, so if you do that, that's just jack up their emotion and it makes them extreme. Okay, so some of them will just drop out and walk home. That's actually the better kind. And the other side could be unpredictable, folks. Okay, so I want you to know that's really something. That's the number one rule is if you both have especially one side is high acceptance, the lower acceptance partner, I recommend you start to know that high acceptance people's language. Hey, I need that no pressure zone now. Okay. And I don't recommend you walk out, but that's the last resort. If you have to walk out, that's okay. At least not escalate to become you embarrass heaven, embarrass us, earth today. That could be a really almost like it's worse than a bomb. It's almost like carve something in their heart. It's like, so that's just add something on top of their already hurt self-esteem. It's like, I'm a lousy wife. I'm a terrible friend. That self-talk style will kick in. All right. So,
wait, before you go on, just a second. I'm wondering why you think that he is high acceptance, because he doesn't seem to pick up on any cues, has no sensitivity at all to what he's doing when he's talking to her. He thinks he's perfectly in line.
But I'm a truly low acceptance people. it's hard for my wife and my son to embarrass me publicly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
You got it. So he is sensitive to feel embarrassed first. So he's truly highly sensitive.
Okay.
To start with. Otherwise, low acceptance people may even make a joke out of this. Okay, you know what I'm trying to say, and
okay,
it will go the other way. Okay, how can you make a joke public? But I don't know. It's very, so I would analyze it, and then what the next principle. The first is no pressure zone. Number 2, take the cue. All right, go to your no pressure zone practice. Number 2, please find the default passion when your sensitivity kick in. This guy defaulted to honor all the time. Okay, there will be a pastor or a preacher rise up within him like, you should do this, you shouldn't be doing that. You see that's his default state, which is it's almost years of training. Okay, and so when these two together, that's why he didn't pick up the cue or the clue, because he's overwhelmed by a sense of honor, tradition. I have to follow rule. You didn't follow rule. I'm going to give you the rule today. Logic kicking. Okay. So yes, I think he's definitely high acceptance.
So which do you think his honor is higher than his acceptance?
Possibly.
Or vice versa?
Possibly
Like,
higher.
Which passion bows to the other? Basically.
No, I think it's honor is a strong one. I know he is an accountant or something. He's doing a very, yes. So see, accountant usually honor guy. Step by step, detail, right? Don't deviate from the regulation. So I think he probably is very, either trained or natural. He loves a system. He loves follow the system, the rule, the instruction, right? I can see the wife expedient. She wants to challenge the boundary. That's another thing we'll talk about. But I think, yeah.
So basically, everything in his head is about honor, the system or the structure. So if anything or anyone doesn't align with what he thinks is the system, he takes it personally. Is that where the acceptance comes in?
Yes. So
he feels like the person is intentionally embarrassing him.
Yes. So his honor is so strong, but his sensitivity is also high. So when like the wife did that behavior, he took it personal. He feel he's personally embarrassed because he's kind of voucher for her. She's part of my whatever. It's like, ow, you know. So you see that. And that becomes such a twin here. Like it's very hard to deal with if that kicking is because a lot of parents like that. Your kids have to be straight A, otherwise you feel you lose your face. The same thing. Okay. It's so interesting pair here, right? Good observation. And but look at this, like
up in front of everyone.
Look at she's totally hurt.
I felt stupid, and everyone around you think that that's okay, and no one even says anything. Yeah, you're gonna ruin everyone's day.
It was okay.
Then why didn't anyone take up for me, Jamie? Why didn't anybody take up for me then? I'm so sick of this. So sick of this. Go away then. Go away. Are you happy?
No.
Let me guess, you still have more to like rip me apart about, don't you? You still have more issues with me. Then go away. You've embarrassed me in front of everyone. You've made me look stupid in front of everyone. So yeah, I'm gonna react. I'm gonna defend myself. Yeah, I have days where I snap and you do too, but you don't do that to people. So yeah, Jamie, you know what? I did overreact and I was a bitch. You're right, I was. And I own it 110%. I own that. And
Make an ass of yourself.
I know. I don't need you to sit here and point a finger at me like this, like you do all of the time. I'm under a magnifying glass with you. I'm so tired. Let me finish. I haven't asked you to speak yet. You asked me what I want, so I'm gonna tell you.
I didn't need
No, stop.
This is a relationship.
Stop.
I think we have a visitor.
I'm not meeting with any experts today.
Oh, hi.
Oh.
How are you?
Hi.
I'm not talking to anyone today.
Viviana just arrived, and Beth is very standoffish. She doesn't want to talk to anybody.
Jamie, are you open to talking?
Sure. Frankly, I'm a little embarrassed. I think that we should respect the experts, the fact that they're taking time to be here and try to help us out, and they actually care.
All right. He said again, I feel a little embarrassed. She's not. Come on, why is he embarrassed? I mean, his wife is not ready to see somebody. Let her be. But you can see the high honor people, right? Like, I have a guest. We have to honor the guest, right? We have to respect the guest. And we, I mean, I'm so embarrassed. So this is very interesting. I'm not trying to say it's good or bad, but this is that language to say I'm a high honor guy. So some of the high honor people have to chill out a little bit, all right? So and otherwise you will feel embarrassed by anything, okay? but so we have to really help, the honor need to be managed in a way that certain value principle you won't give up. But when it comes down to relationship, it's more than just principle. You have to take the whole being holistically. At the same time, you have to know you are unique because you're honored, but your partner may be unique because his or her experience, right? Or sensitivity or some other thing. So that's where a lot of conflict happen in a so-called high value or like even faith-based community where the honor is real, but they take it personal. Let me try that one more time. The honor is good, but they take it personal. To a point, some place they call it honor killing for the family, which is really, really something. You see, you take it to be like a reputation, fan, take it personal. And that's where we have to work to protect your heart. Like, yes, we respect your need for a system, a tradition, yet, is that possible you don't take it so personal to your heart that you feel you're embarrassed? You see that the keyword is embarrassed. I feel I lose faith. I feel it's not, it's waste of my time. All that, like, why don't you waste my money to send you to this best college? All that start coming, take it very personal. It's my feeling, embarrassing, right? So all this talk need to be kind of managed. You can express your feeling about honor, but not in a very personal, like, oh, I'm embarrassed by you. That's so. So in a way, it's a guilt and shame tactic to get other people to listen. Okay, so be very careful here. I'm glad they have an expert coming in, but let's watch.
Is this how things normally are?
It's very much like a roller coaster. Like, we're either up here on cloud 9 or we're calling the marriage off, one of the two.
So what happened?
I was really upset at the way she acted while we were at the racetrack, and that's when I told her, like, you've got to shut up.
This has gone into a really negative, unhealthy place.
Yeah.
But in all fairness to Elizabeth, I would love for her to be a part of this. I don't want to feel like we're talking about having her back.
Right.
If you would be willing to invite her over.
Okay, yeah, I'll ask her.
All right, so this is something I want to jump in here. I think this counselor, she's very wise. A lot of young people out there, or just women friends, men in a bar, you hear somebody complain about their relationship. Don't just hear from one side. Okay, and she make a very wise decision. Let's don't talk behind her. We get her involved. So don't make judgment and listen to your friends talk about their spouse, and you just like take one side. You have to hear both sides' story, which is usually sometimes not available, but just be unassuming. So in the PQ community, we love one word called unassuming, right? Unassuming means you don't assume too much. You don't assume anything, okay? You got to be in the neutral ground to really listen on both sides. And in a way, don't let that get into you personally. It's very difficult, folks. I sometimes walk out of the board meeting in the company. I was like I take it totally personal. And yeah, we have a way to climb out of that, right? I'll show you how maybe down the road. But just try to be that unassuming state of mind is very crucial. So this counselor showed that instead of start talking, hear just one side. She said, get your wife out, although she doesn't want to. All right, that's very, very wise.
If you would be willing to invite her over,
Okay. Yeah, I'll ask her.
can you try that?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, passionaires, why he is so, he is so like, you should invite her over. Yes, ma'am. It's like, this is like, it's beyond my mind. It's like he's become a straight A student, like, okay, so you can see that he's definitely high on, all right? So, but anyway, all right, that's happened a lot, all right?
Would you like to just come out here?
I don't want to be beaten down today.
You're not going to be beaten down. You don't even have to say anything.
Elizabeth, this is not about beating you down, I promise you. I want to help you be able to get the message across, but without it being such a volatile situation.
I don't know how much help it'll be because I don't know how receptive I am today,
don't
but
have
I'll
to-
sit here.
You don't even have to
predict the
say a
future.
word.
Okay, I'll just sit here. But the minute y'all start going and saying, well, you need to fix this and you did this and you did that yesterday, bitch, I just knows what I did yesterday.
You didn't just call me a bitch, did you?
No, I was just no. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
It's like term, straight term. Bitches, I was there. I know what I did.
Elizabeth and Jamie have been on a roller coaster of emotions ever since marrying a stranger 6 weeks ago. They need to remember that even though you may love each other, you can't read your partner's mind. So it's important that they take a time out to really sit back and learn what it is that they're each really trying to say so they can learn from these misunderstandings because they can cause hurt, anger, and resentment.
And that's very well, folks. Time out is we call it no pressure zone, not just talk. A lot of couple make an interesting mistake is like timeout is about talking. No, sometimes timeout is just have a no pressure zone. And the way you can create it could be pets are the best place. Talk to the pet. Garden is good. Work on the garden. Man's cave is great. So if man has a man's cave in the house, get to the man's cave. And you could have some. People put on some jogging, gear and go out jog for 50 minutes. But it's not just like I'm walking out, right? Like actually the husband from last week and from other episode, he walked out in a lot of situation. He just sleep outside somewhere, right? So that's extreme. That's also kind of no pressure zone created. But to me, that's not enough. So have roughly know how much time each need. It would take some time to figure it out, and that's very crucial, right now. And to me, this couple, they are still married. So I think this really, in a way, if you have a very high honor partner, you'll get all this. You ought to do this. You ought to do that stuff. But on the other hand, that partner might be the easier one to deal with because you can trust that person will follow the rule, will have a system to work with you. I think at least I give the husband credit. He's willing to listen, maybe in a way, maybe not fair to his wife. He listened to a outside expert more than his wife, right? But at least he got that help, and he's willing to sit down, create a non-pressure zone by introducing, of course, a third person, a counselor, a pastor, a friend, sit down, really have a talk. That's an ideal case, but usually that's not available, okay? It's not like that. So that's something I want to bring your attention today. Like high accepted people, the counselor said it best, roller coaster. Are you in a roller coaster type of relationship when you two are so good? Woo! Ooh. But when things are not sync, or the body language says the otherwise, but the language is like, I don't know, it's very, very volatile. As we just hear the word volatile. It's like volatile. But when things happen like that, I really suggest we I don't know. I'm not high acceptance, so I really need high acceptance people to teach me how you guys handle it, because this is like it's like another level of sensitivity. I'm like, whoa. and stuff like that. So coaches, if guys have any thoughts on this, any way to suggestion or anything? Henry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say that maybe part of the reason they're still married is if you're high honor, you're also probably high loyalty. So once he's made the commitment to marriage, he's going to honor that commitment. And I find that, well, I live with Lisa, who is high acceptance. And oftentimes, if you give her enough space in a situation similar to this, if she was the one at fault, she will come to that conclusion and she will come to you and, and deal with it.
Right.
But she needs time to process it, like you said.
So what would be that no pressure zone in your case, Henry? Different room? Garden?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes it's just being quiet, not talking.
That's good.
Just letting her set the agenda for when she wants to talk about something. I'm not nearly so high acceptance, so half the time something has bothered her and I'm totally oblivious. So.
Okay, very good. All right, our younger coaches, any comments from you guys? Watch this together. They end the fight with, fortunately, a third party coming in, right? But that's usually not available readily. So what should we do? Joyce?
About what?
About two of you, now they have this TV show, so they have a professional counselor coming in schedule, right? That's a good thing. So for the newlyweds, I really recommend you to have someone wiser, or even just someone know both of you enough to do some review after the first month, 3 months. Just do a little bit of sit down, okay? Because that really, the first 6 months to first 8 months is a very crucial time. Because a lot of things happen, and if you not talk about it, could be a pattern for lifetime. it really, that's what it is, okay? So, but that pattern, good or bad, if somebody coming a fresh pair of eyes, and if you have the Piku language to analyze, that's what I usually do is sit down with a couple and hey, what kind of fight you have? Give me one your recent fight. So we'll sit down and talk about it and use Piku language. Oh, that's your vengeance. Got it. Oh, your acceptance is acting weird. Okay. And oh, your saving is still okay. So we have able to break it down into different, passion to really to see, okay, now next time this same scenario or similar thing happen, we have a language to communicate. All right. So if I could do differently from the husband point of view, I think I would inject something right here, okay? Right at this point. I think if I could have known my wife, I have a very high vengeance son and wife, both of them. So when I see them have that body language, even though I feel they might do something, say, embarrassing, I don't have that anymore anyway, but even so, I would appeal to their passion first. So I would come to my son and say, Zach, how's it going? How's your cross country, right? So I would jump to another place where I know vengeance is a good talk about their lifestyle, right? My wife is high curiosity, so I may just, hey, do you see this interesting news? A new thing pop up today. So you can just jump to their higher passion, the higher passion side of them. Talk about that to create a non-pressure zone as well. Unfortunately, both of them have low eating. Otherwise, Start talking about food. We're gonna eat food tonight. Start to create that kind of talk. It's really help, folks. It's almost like you pretend you don't know. You pretend you don't. But when you talk about their passionate stuff, they are passionate about, you can create that non-pressure zone very, very. So if I would, at this point, I wouldn't doing things like this. When my wife has that body language, I probably say, hey, Beth, I think you really want to win, right? You really want to win in that contest. That's why you really, just feel like you have to speak up. So use a neutral language to describe the uniqueness of that person. Hey, I also want to win, but I just feel like, whoa, if you talk like that, waste time, So you could kind of really appeal to her vengeance. You want to win. Yes, I affirm you. Okay? And you are sensitive. Maybe the instructor didn't give enough time or didn't give clear instruction. It's okay. We can slow him down. But hey, you can just appeal to her like that. Okay? You could just talk like that. Now, the wife, I think this is a moment. Actually, I gave her to walk out. Although she flipped the table, I give her this. If she could have stayed on the sofa, that's the worst. Okay? All right? Because you can see she needed space. Although I know somebody, she should work out so nice. Forget about it. She needs this smoke to disappear. Okay, this is the smoke. She has to create something. So I'm okay. But at this point, and she starts to have so much of a self-blame, self-image talk, like I'm a this, I'm a B, I ruin everybody, I'm so unworthy, I'm not worth it. Words start to pile up because that's really when you say things like that. It's not just words. When you say that, it's reinforce your acceptance and your self-esteem. You try to hurt yourself to hurt others. It's never worked that way, folks. You want to hurt yourself, make some other people feel hurt. That's not called love, okay? And unfortunately, love is expressed that way. So when she walked out, I prefer she just flip the table and walked out. And look at the poor dog. I think the dog is like, look at the dog. Like, look at the dog. It's like, I need to hide too. Okay. But she's creating space. And so it's okay to walk out. It's okay to create smoke. But between action and words, at this moment, the words is something I would like to, hopefully the wife can practice not to hurt herself so that she can hurt other people. It's never worked in a relation. The more you say this, it's kind of a negative, reinforcement. The more you say it, you will feel lousy. The more and the self-pity kicking, right? And all that, and the past memories, start to stir up. So this is where that word need to be stopped. Okay, so don't be almost like, and then we'll work on the self-talk inside, right? So those are the highlight point, and I really hope this is okay. This is typical. This fight is okay. She locked herself up, and then while waiting for a counselor to come. So, hey, passionaire, this is life. Okay, this is relationship. Are you in a roller coaster relationship? You may want to give up. This couple didn't give up. They still remain married, but you can see how we can look at it now. We know area to work with, area we are different, and how we can recognize each other's uniqueness at the same time. We know the language to communicate. All right. So Joey said nobody can walk away nicely after what he was saying to her. I agree. If she walk out nicely, there's some problem. She has to see a doctor. Okay. it's just not right. Okay, so but why we have to go to that come down to this point? But it's okay, folks. Yes, if she walk away nicely, she probably feel worse inside. That's why she had to walk out like that, because she refused to go in there. So I give her this. Okay, really, I think she's trying. So and the bottom line is, please, men and women out there, yeah, sometimes you have to engage the third party somewhere, in a neutral perspective to come in and sit down with you. That's it. Maybe a friend, maybe just okay. This is very, very crucial as well. All right. So hey, I don't know if we're gonna stay on this couple, but I love it. I think they are lovely couple. They try the best, we probably learn a lot from them. I'm not in their shoes at all, but I'll go back to where this body language. I want you to understand this body language here. Okay, this body language here. All right, that's not how you start talking. Okay, folks. This is not how you start have a high sensitivity talk. All right. So, Passionaire, good to have you. If you are first time here, this is our channel. We will we'll welcome you to watch. If you can support us by subscribe to it, and also turn on the notification. So when we are on, you will watch and just have about an hour of watching this relationship episode with us. I'm glad to have you here, all the Passionaire. Hope to see you next week.